Hello, welcome back. This is another tutorial video in how to create a Pokemon style game in AGS. Um, we're going to start getting ourselves prepared for the combat system. Now, we have a script called Pokédex that we created, and that's going to basically has the entire pool of zombies, Pokemon um, that we can discover in the game. But we're going to create another script and we're going to call this a stable. Okay, so stable is going to be all the Pokemon, your active 6 Pokemon that you can use in battle, and also all of the Pokemon that you've kind of collected and are in storage, because we need somewhere to store those details. So the way we're going to do that is we're basically going to do two structs in here. Okay, so we're going to go stable and then Pokemon. No, we can't use Pokemon because that's a pointer for the other struct that we've created. So we'll do my Pokemon, and we'll do a potential of 40 collected. Okay, then we'll do export my Pokemon. Then we're going to create another struct, and this is going to be active Pokemon, and then the array is going to be called ready Pokemon, and that's going to be 6. And we'll do an export of ready Pokemon. So that's going to be, you can, at any one time you can have 6 Pokemon that you can use in battles. So that's going to be stored in the ready Pokemon. Otherwise, everything that we just collect will be kind of stored in there. So for the very first time, if you collect a Pokemon, it will search to see if there's any available slots in your ready Pokemon, and if there is any empty slots, it'll store the data there. Otherwise, if they're all taken, it's just going to put them into this My Pokemon. So we'll be able to maybe use a computer or something in the game to switch out which Pokemon you want readied for combat. So then I'm going to just do function start game. So now we need to start putting in. So I'm just going to put this up here just so it makes sense for me. So we're going to do our first 6, which are the battle ready Pokemon. So when you start the game and you collect your first Pokemon, it's going to fill one of these slots up. So it'll be it'll be ready Pokemon 0 dot, and for the most part we're going to be copying all of this. So I'm just going to copy that, and we're just going to change all this out. As quick as I can. It would help if I'd copied that as well, of course. Copy. Paste. 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 we're going to be using a lot of structs basically, because we'll need to also create another one for all of the different moves in the game, and that'll store their details like their accuracy, their power, things like that, damage, all that stuff. Which again is something we will need for the combat system. So there's some additional things that I'm going to put in here, like evasion is going to be one, and I'm going to set that to 65. So the default evasion for any Pokemon in combat is going to be 65. And what else have we got here? Accuracy as well. So we'll do ready Pokemon dot accuracy. This is going to be another thing, and that's going to be 65. So regardless of whatever type of zombie, why do I keep saying zombie? Regardless of any type of creature in our game, the evasion and accuracy will be the same for every creature in our game. So it'll be 65. And that's going to be used in the combat system. And this isn't going to be displayed to the player. So at nowhere in the UI will the player be able to see what their accuracy and evasion is. It's literally for like under the hood how we're going to work out whether an attack hits or misses. So otherwise though, all of this is correct, and I'm going to get rid of number, so we don't need that. So and we don't need front image. Get rid of that as well, because the rest of this stuff we probably don't need. That. We'll keep type because we'll probably use that in combat. Yes, so everything else there is going to be required. So we're going to paste this 5 more times. So we'll set this to 1. What am I doing? That should be 2. Getting carried away with pressing the 1 key. Oh. And the last one. 5. Excellent. So I'm just going to copy all of this. Now we're going to go to our header for our stable. Let me just have a look at the header here. So I'm going to go struct, and it is ready active Pokemon it is. So active Pokemon. And I'll just copy all of this. Put that in there. So I'll just get rid of the values because these aren't needed. Because here we're specifying the type of variable that these are going to be in our array. So that's a string. This is an int. string int. These are all ints, which are whole numbers. Int. Oh, they're strings, aren't they? String. These are ints. So there we go. And then I'm just going to do import, and then it is basically that. There we go. That's looking correct. Let me run it. Stable Pokemon. So that is our active Pokemon, or creatures in this case. So we'll just put a comment. Active 6 Pokemon. Now we need to do the stored Pokemon, and it's going to be pretty much the same as, we're just going to copy everything here because we're going to transfer the information from that Pokédex array into here. So that is my Pokemon. So my Pokemon. We'll just do that. Just replace all of these. Right, there we have it. Now, because we're just using the exact same thing here. I'll do struct, and it's stable, I believe it is. Stable. Then I'm going to go to the Pokédex. I'm just going to copy. If I go to the Pokédex header, I'm just going to copy this because nothing has really changed. So we'll put that in there, and then we'll do import, and we'll just take that. So there's our two structs. So we've got our active 6 Pokemon, and then all the other Pokemon that we might collect out in the field. They'll get stored away. I suppose in a way, I mean, the tagline for the game is that, you know, you've got to collect them all. So you would probably end up wanting to have a stable that's more than 40. You'd probably want an equal amount of how many creatures are in your game. But I'm just going to go with 40 just to kind of begin with, because that's plenty. That's a lot. Let me just run the game because there was that error. I think that'll be fine now. Yep, it's just because there wasn't the array set up. So there we go. So then, in that case, you know, we would probably then have to, you know, copy this and change those numbers through. So that'll be 1. So we essentially can store up to 41 Pokemon or creatures in our computer or storage or whatever, and we can have our 6 active that we'll use for battling. So now we can actually gather Pokemon and store their stats. So maybe in the next video we'll probably do a bit of a cutscene, a bit of an intro, and then you have to go and choose which Pokemon that you want from the doctor out of the 3, which would be a Squirtle, a Charmander, and a Bulbasaur. So you'll get to choose, and then once you've chosen, we'll store the stats from the Pokédex, the Bulbasaur stats, or whatever you decide to go with, into our first ready Pokemon, and then from there we should be able to get battling working. So there we go. We're getting there. We are getting there slowly. It's game development is definitely, it's a marathon, not a race. So, and as you can see, we've got quite a few scripts now. Our global script, our Pokédex stable. We're going to create another script, and that'll be our combat manager. We'll probably create another script which will be which will house all of the different moves that the Pokemon can do, from like tackle or string shot or anything like that. Because again, that's going to be quite a large script, especially if you're going to have lots and lots of different possible moves that a creature can have. So yes, so we're going to work on that. So the next video we'll probably do a bit of a cutscene, and you get to pick what you like. So in the next video we'll move on. So I'll see you then.